Johnson Arthur Sakaja is one of the most recognizable and symbolically powerful political figures of modern Kenya, a leader whose life story mirrors the hopes, contradictions, and energy of a young nation in transition, and whose rise to the governorship of Nairobi City County represents not just personal ambition fulfilled but a generational shift in Kenyan leadership. Born on February 2, 1985, Johnson Sakaja belongs to a new crop of politicians who came of age in the era of constitutional reform, digital communication, and heightened civic awareness, and as of his early 40s, he embodies a rare blend of youthful dynamism and hard-earned political experience, making him both relatable to younger voters and credible to older generations who value resilience and endurance in leadership. Sakaja was born and raised in Nairobi, a city whose complexity, diversity, inequality, and relentless pace would profoundly shape his worldview, and growing up in the capital exposed him early to the stark contrasts of urban life, from affluence and opportunity to poverty and struggle, realities that would later define much of his political messaging and policy focus. Ethnically, Johnson Sakaja identifies as a member of the Luhya community, with roots often associated with the Tiso subgroup, a heritage he has spoken about openly, particularly in a political environment where questions of identity frequently intersect with leadership, and while his tribe forms part of his personal story. Sakaja has consistently framed himself as a cosmopolitan Kenyan, a son of Nairobi whose political identity is shaped more by the city's multicultural character than by ethnic boundaries, a positioning that has helped him appeal to a broad and diverse electorate in the country's most heterogeneous county. His personal life reveals another dimension of the man behind the public office, as Johnson Sakaja is married and is a devoted family man, although, like many high-profile leaders, he has chosen to shield much of his family life from excessive public scrutiny, a choice that reflects both cultural values and the desire to maintain a sense of normalcy amid political pressure. And his wife, who is often described as supportive yet private, has largely stayed away from the political spotlight, allowing Sakaja to carry the burden of public life while anchoring him emotionally and spiritually behind the scenes. Together, they are blessed with children, including a son and a daughter. And Sakaja has on several occasions spoken with warmth and humility about fatherhood, describing how his children remind him daily of the long-term consequences of leadership decisions and the kind of city and country he hopes to leave behind for the next generation, a narrative that resonates deeply with parents and young families across the nation. Politically, Johnson Sakaja's journey is both unconventional and instructive, marked by persistence, reinvention, and strategic patience, as he first rose to national prominence not through elective office but as a sharp, articulate political mobilizer and strategist, serving as the chairman of the Jubilee Party at a time when the party was at the height of its influence, and in this role he became known as a disciplined party loyalist, a persuasive communicator, and a bridge between grassroots supporters and top leadership, qualities that laid the foundation for his later electoral success. His entry into parliament as the nominated Member of Parliament representing youth interests further cemented his image as a generational spokesperson, and during this period Sakaja positioned himself as a defender of young people, informal sector workers, and urban residents who often felt excluded from traditional power structures, using parliamentary platforms and media appearances to articulate the frustrations and aspirations of a demographic that makes up the majority of Kenya's population. However, his political path was not without setbacks and controversy, as his 2017 election as senator for Nairobi was nullified by the courts over academic qualification issues, a moment that could have ended his career but instead became a defining chapter of resilience, as Sakaja chose to confront the setback head-on, rebuilding his credibility, refining his political strategy, and re-emerging stronger, a comeback narrative that has since become central to his public image and one that deeply appeals to audiences who admire perseverance in the face of adversity. Johnson Sakaja's political home today is the United Democratic Alliance, UDA, the ruling party that emerged as a dominant force ahead of the 2022 general election, and under the UDA banner he ran for the highly competitive position of Governor of Nairobi City County, a race that tested his organizational skills, personal brand, and ability to connect with a restless urban electorate hungry for change, and his victory in that election was historic, making him one of the youngest governors in the country and placing him at the helm of Kenya's capital city, a global hub whose challenges and opportunities carry national significance. As a UDA leader, Sakaja has aligned himself with the party's broader message of bottom-up economic empowerment, youth inclusion, and entrepreneurial growth, while also carving out a distinct identity as an urban reformer focused on service delivery, infrastructure, and restoring dignity to Nairobi's residents. What makes Johnson Sakaja's story particularly compelling for a YouTube audience is its cinematic arc, a narrative filled with ambition, public scrutiny, controversy, redemption, and ultimate triumph, all unfolding against the backdrop of Kenya's most iconic city. And his communication style, polished yet approachable, assertive yet conversational, translates well to digital platforms where authenticity and relatability drive engagement. His age positions him as a voice of a new generation. His tribal identity reflects Kenya's diversity, his family life humanizes him beyond politics, and his party affiliation situates him at the center of national power, creating a multidimensional character whose life story offers inspiration, debate, and insight in equal measure. As governor, Sakaja continues to face immense expectations, balancing political loyalty with the complex demands of urban governance, and every decision he makes is watched closely by supporters, critics, and aspirants alike, further fueling interest in his personal journey and leadership style. Ultimately, the biography of Johnson Sakaja is not just the story of a man, but the story of Nairobi itself, restless, resilient, diverse, and forever evolving. And for viewers and subscribers, his life offers a powerful reminder that leadership is shaped as much by struggle as by success, making his story a magnet for millions who are eager to understand, critique, and be inspired by one of Kenya's most influential contemporary leaders. Thank you for watching. For more videos like this, subscribe to my Behind the Name channel.